All right, there, Latin 2. Let's take a look at page 236. There's more grammar still. So now we're reading Marshall's Epigram. And at the very top, you can see several words there in that paragraph. So Marshall is a poet who really liked the games. And so he wrote epigrams about them. It would be, again, like Ta-Nehisi Coates writing an ode to John Cena's career. A Weles is somebody who literally just goes out there essentially in a loincloth, maybe a pauldron, and a spear. A Retarius is one who looks like a fisherman. And so he's got a net and a trident, okay? And then somebody who is a Samnis is very heavily armed, so lots of armor and a big old helmet. The idea is that they're kind of slow, but they can take a lot of hits. So this meter here is actually the epic meter, which I love. It's using the meter that you would use for an epic poem to describe your favorite wrestler. It's the weirdest thing. It would be like a haiku that encompassed all of Randy Orton's career. So Hermes is his name. It's because he's swift. He is not the messenger god, but he's a gladiator, and Hermes takes people to the underworld. In other words, he's the agent of death. That's kind of why he's connected with this, okay? Martius Aum is Martian, and that means having to do with war, okay? Saeculum saeculi is the age or the era that you're living in. This is where you get the word secular, actually. Voluptatis is the pleasure or the delight. This is where we get voluptuous from. Turbai normally means crowd, but in this instance, it means the cause of turmoil, the panic inducer. Sui ludi means of his school. Gladiators were taught in schools up until the Spartacan revolts, and then they weren't allowed to be. Let's see, tremor, tremoris. Obviously, it looks like the word tremor, right? So this is a cause of fright, the reason why people are afraid. Helios. Now, Helios and Advolans are other gladiators, okay? You basically take on the names of various mythological figures, and it kind of recalls that for you, for the audience. So here it means sun and flying to the attack. These is kind of similar to if you watch certain kung fu movies, or if you just watch professional wrestling from the 80s. Sed unum. Okay, here it just means but the only one. Then you've got ferio, ferire, ferivi, feritum, which is to strike and often to kill. Okay, to give the killing blow. Suppositicius sibi ipse. He is his only substitute. Divitiae, divitiarum means wealth. We've seen that before. Locarius, locarii is a scalper. A scalper is somebody who stands outside of an arena and sells you tickets to seats that were otherwise already bought. They go in and buy them up quite quickly, and then they can sell them at a higher price. This is pretty common. Kura kurai, this means the favorite. And so he's using a lot of words in slightly different ways. Labor, laboris, here is the cause of distress. In other words, he makes their hearts go pitter-patter. Okay. Ludii, or ludii, these are the female slaves that are attached to the gladiatorial school. Essentially, they're sex slaves, and also they do the cooking and the cleaning and stuff. You've got a gladiator. I don't know why it's romanticized at all, what a gladiator school is. Belliger, belligera, belligerum. Okay, this means warlike. It's gero, gerera, plus bellum, and you put it together, and it's one who is warlike. Superbus aum, here use the word arrogant or proud. Hasta hastai, this is a spear. That's different than a pilum. A spear is one thing that you hold on to. A pilum is one that you throw. It doesn't mean you can't throw your hasta, but you're expected to fight with it in your hands. Aequoreo tridente. So aequoris is of the sea. A tridente is tridens tridentis, which means triple-toothed. In other words, it's a trident. So with his sea trident. Minax minakis. This is a word that means menacing. Cassis cassidis. This is a plumed metal helmet. So it's a helmet that's got a feather coming out of it. Okay. And then languidus is the plumed helmet, and then the visor comes down like this. And it keeps the sun out of your eyes, also protects you from overhead blows. It's languid, it's drooping. Timendus this means to be feared. Okay, so yeah. And then Martis Universi, this means all the kinds of combat. So in other words, in all types of Martian things. And then Ter means 3 times. Okay, so now that we've gone over all of that, okay, make sure you've read 223, 232 to 235. This is all about the gladiators. We're going to get to the grammar next. I'm going to hit the button.